Messiah. That's what the word suffering Messiah means. It means a people whose eyes are open in a world that is contradictory to them and against them. And not only that, they have to go through suffering knowing that their people don't want to know this shit. And that's the real heartache. That's what the suffering Messiah comes. When your eyes are open and you know a certain knowledge and information, and you love, and because you love your people and you want to just tell everybody about this great news, and they don't want nothing to do with it, they would rather spit in your face than to hear the truth. That's when you start suffering.
What if I told you the real reason they fear you has to do with electricity? The copper in your body, the melanin in your skin, and the frequency in your soul all connect to a truth that they've hidden for centuries. Copper is one of the most electrically conducive metals on Earth, second only to silver. But here's the twist. Your body naturally contains copper, especially in the brain, blood, and melanin centers. But why? Because copper is the metal of energy transfer, and melanated people are walking bioelectrical beings. Copper enhances brain functions, immune defense, and nervous system power. But spiritually, it does more. It's the key that unlocks melanin magic. Melanin is not just pigment, it's a cosmic antenna. It absorbs light, sound, and radiation, translating it into usable energy. But here's the secret. Melanin is activated and powered by copper. That's why the more copper you have, the more electrically aligned your melanin becomes. Melanated people, especially those with high U melanin, naturally carry more copper and iron. That's why the sun empowers you, why you feel things on a deeper frequency.
People that even science cannot explain. Number 1. Stephen Wiltshire is known for his almost unbelievable photographic memory. After just one short helicopter ride over a city, he could draw the entire skyline in incredible detail, including streets, windows, and buildings. Scientists believe his brain processes visual information in a completely different way than most people. His drawings are so accurate that many people say it feels like he is copying the city directly from his mind. Number 2. Ben Underwood lost his sight as a child, but developed the ability to use echolocation like a bat. He would make clicking sounds with his tongue and listen to the echoes to recognize obstacles around him. Because of this, he was able to ride a bike, run, and even play basketball without assistance. His ability amazed doctors because he could move through the world with confidence, even without seeing it. Number 3. Dean Karnazes became known as the man who can run extreme distances without feeling normal fatigue. Once he ran for more than 80 hours with almost no sleep, shocking researchers. Scientists believe his body processes pain and exhaustion differently than the average person. His endurance became so unusual that many people began calling him one of the greatest ultra runners in the world.
In the early 1970s, the CIA was worried about the Soviet Union. Reports claimed the Soviets were spending millions of dollars studying psychic powers. They wanted to build a team of psychics that could see what Americans were doing from hundreds of miles away. The idea sounded impossible, but the US government couldn't ignore even the smallest threat. So the CIA also quietly launched its own psychic research program. It was called the Stargate Project. They started recruiting Americans who claimed they had psychic abilities. The most promising candidates were brought to a secret location in Maryland. Their first task was simple. They needed to prove that they were really psychic. Each candidate was locked in a room and given a series of tests. In one test, a researcher secretly looked at a picture. The psychic then had to read the researcher's mind and draw whatever image they were thinking about.
On the left side of the page, you see the original target, and on the right, Geller's response.
When the drawings were compared to the original images, they claimed that some were surprisingly close.
In fact, this is the most off-target of the drawings that he did.
Some candidates passed the tests. They were ready for the first psychic spy mission. The psychics were given the coordinates of specific locations. Then they were asked to describe what was happening there. They called it remote viewing.
People don't know how to raise children. When my kid came to me and he said, "Daddy, a wheel came off my toy car," and he gave it to me. And I said, "So it did." I threw it in the garbage. And I went back to my magazine. Then I watched that lower lip going off. Then he started crying. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "You throw it away." I said, "I'll get you baby toys where the wheels don't come off." He said, "Well, maybe I can fix it." So I gave it over again. And he's sitting on the couch and he gets it together. In just a minute or two, gets it together. Then you pick up, "How did you do that? Wonderful." He says, "I'm not that little." But how did you do it? See the hole in the wheel? Yes. See the piece of iron sticking up? I put the hole in and pushed on it. I said, "That's wonderful." But he said, "Here, let Daddy do it. Let Mommy do it." You produce a blob. You know what that means? You solve all your kids' problems. You have to put things upon them.
Star of David or Seal of Solomon. Now, I'm not here to tell you that that star belongs to some sort of deity. I'm here to state facts. We don't know where this star came from. And when you dig, you find it comes from one of 3 places that have adopted it over the last thousands of years. The Hindus used it at one point. The Muslims used it at one point. It also popped up in ancient Mesopotamia. I mean, this was the place where you had Gilgamesh and the Anunnaki. Now, I'm not making any assertions here. I will delete comments in a heartbeat if I see people going nuts about this and taking this a direction that is not meant to. But if the Muslims are right, then this seal is the Seal of Solomon. That makes it a very interesting discussion. Because the seal, according to them, it was designed to bind demons. Before the time of Christ, you only had so many different ways you could get rid of a demon. It is said that angels were assigned to different demons. Now, the Muslim interpretation, you do have books that go with that. Those are books that are on my storefront, by the way, if you're interested in them. But is this interpretation correct? Is this what we've actually stumbled across? Let me know.
The tablet says the Anunnaki didn't come to Earth to help humanity evolve. They came because they were losing a war. Not a war with weapons, but a war of energy. The text describes a conflict with another group of beings, referred to only as those who dwell in the outer darkness. These beings existed in a frequency range that the Anunnaki couldn't access. They were starving the Anunnaki of resources, specifically the resources tied to consciousness energy. The Anunnaki had built an empire across multiple star systems, but their technology, their entire civilization, ran on harvested consciousness frequency. And the outer darkness beings were systematically cutting off their supply. So the Anunnaki came to Earth, not because Earth was special, but because it was remote, far enough from the conflict that they could build a containment system without interference. The tablet describes Earth as the hidden farm, a place where consciousness could be cycled indefinitely, generating energy with each reset, completely isolated from outside intervention. Humans weren't created to worship the gods. Humans were created to power them. The tablet is very specific about this. It uses the Sumerian term Lu-Kig-Tu-Ji for A, which translates to worker made to return. Not worshiper, not servant, worker. A biological machine engineered to generate the one resource the Anunnaki couldn't synthesize, consciousness energy derived from emotional experience. Code 5 describes the selection process. Not everyone gets reset the same way. The tablet divides human consciousness into 3 categories. The first category, those with strong knowing, refers to people who retain too much awareness between cycles. These consciousnesses were flagged as risks. The system couldn't fully wipe them, so instead they were routed into what the tablet calls the slow path, a series of lifetimes designed to break their memory through repeated trauma. The tablet doesn't describe this as punishment, it describes it as correction. If a consciousness remembers too much, it might resist the next reset. So the system deliberately programs traumatic life circumstances to fracture that awareness.
I want you to think about this. Think about this, that something with the capabilities of traveling light years, not showing a heat signature, and the energy capabilities of that would put the Pentagon out of business. We wouldn't be fighting these worthless wars overseas over oil, and American boys and girls wouldn't be dying. It would put the war pigs out of business, and they'd have to go somewhere else. And
you must be able to see it, Mr. Anderson. You must know it by now. You can't win. It's pointless to keep fighting. Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Because I choose to.
He's hooked. He's hooked. Damn, Rod, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Pressure changes everything, pressure. Some people, you squeeze them, they focus. Others fold. Can you summon your talent at will? Can you deliver on a deadline? Can you sleep at night?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
What would you tell yourself? You know, when you were where I am? I know.
Oh, that's a toughie. I don't think there's any right thing to say that will make any difference. I think I'd tell myself that you have no idea what you're doing, and therefore you're invincible.
You're not going to do it, are you? Change the world. Figures. You're only born a month ago. You're afraid. Afraid of your monster.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars. But we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. And we're very, very pissed off.
Can you speak up? Now look, sugar, you need to just keep living.
Thank you. Matthew McConaughey, your words are a treasure.
Listen to the pain. It's both history teacher and fortune teller. Pain teaches us who we are, Wade. Sometimes it's so bad we feel like we're dying. But we can't really live till we die a little, can we?
What will you do?
Rebuild it. Just the way it was, brick for brick.
Why build yourself?
I'm not meant to die in here.
Here, there. What's the difference?
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
There is no good and evil. There is only power. And those too weak to seek it.
Want to know what you're thinking? Fuck what you know. You need to forget about what you know. That's your problem. Forget about what you think you know about life, about friendship, and especially about you and me.
What is that supposed to mean? What?
NASA loves to limit the information they give us, and they don't even know how many planets are in our solar system. They tell us 9, but there's actually 40 total. So there's 39 planets in addition to Earth. Every one of those 39 planets have different civilizations. They trade with one another. They trade technology. They trade farming. What they call gas giants are thriving planets with civilizations on them. Since Venus is the closest to Earth, you know, they have tried to make us think, oh, it's way too hot for anybody to live on Venus, which is nonsense. There's a civilization up on Venus, and apparently they visited us several times. If you've read any of the Adamski books, they look like just, you know...
They look like what?
Us.
Yeah, like us, right.
And I wish I would have knew this motherfucking shit a long time ago. You telling me we've been spending thousands of dollars and we could have been getting furniture for the fraction of that price? China has a vast manufacturing infrastructure that allows for large-scale production, which means that's why it's so cheap. Watch this.
Who is the Chinese supplier of light luxury furniture? The supplier of various luxury brands is Mingxi International. It has been producing furniture for more than 35 years.
Wow.
Usually you spend $1,000 to buy furniture, but over here you only need 1/10 of the cost.
A couple
and
bucks?
There are many styles such as the Italian
We need to hop
luxury
on
style,
that.
modern minimalism style, American romantic style, and so on. It is one of the largest OEM factories for international brand. If you want to source furniture from China,
Now, I remember back in the day when we was in school, they used to tell us about imports and exports, how prices would be different. But who knew that the prices would be this different? Who knew that good old America would really be getting over us that hard? I mean, fucking us real hard. And before you mention anything about the shipping, oh man, the shipping is not that expensive as what you people think. They're basically telling you, hey, come shop with us, skip the middleman.
More and more people are now saying that the CIA codes that were released are actually a real thing. And I was like, CIA codes like weapons or something? They're like, no. CIA codes related to the human body and how just knowing these sequences can change your body. How can a sequence of numbers affect your body? And how she described it, the woman who was like, this is a complete joke, and then tried it and said her pain is gone. She focused on the area where she was having the pain while she was having it, and then repeated this sequence of numbers, 55515, over and over again, kind of turning it into like a mantra, would say it out loud. It worked. I dug into this because everything fascinates me. There is a pain relief code, the 55515. There is a peace code. There is an unexpected money code. We're talking a sequence of numbers for income. And wait for it, they also have them for weight loss and reality shift. Who knew? And apparently the romance code is another one that people say they swear by. You don't have to just walk around chanting these numbers to yourself that you sound crazy to everyone. You can just visualize this sequence of numbers, focus on what it is these numbers are supposed to be doing for you. We are also saying write these numbers down. You can write them on your body. Show them to water before you drink the water. Apparently being related to that study where they took water and like drew a picture of like an animal or something, then took the picture away and then stuck the water in like a freezer, and whenever they took the water out and ran it under a microscope, there was a picture of that animal, proving that water had memory. If it works, it works. Thanks, CIA.
Have you ever wondered what actually causes the tides on planet Earth? According to the mainstream narrative, it's the moon whipping around the Earth, and its gravitational pull is pulling the water with it and then causing high tides and low tides. So like as it's moving around, it's pulling the water, and then as it moves away, the water comes back. Which, if you really think about it, how is it possible that the moon's gravitational force is only affecting bodies of water and not the boats, not the people walking around? If it was really the moon and its gravitational force causing the tides, then every time the moon whipped around, people would just go flying into outer space. But that's not what happens. And on top of that, there are plenty of bodies of water on Earth that actually don't have any tides. The Black Sea is the sea with no tides. The Caspian Sea has a very small, measurable amount of tides. And the Mediterranean Sea, the same exact thing. And this is because they are basically landlocked. They're not really directly connected to the outer oceans. The outer oceans have massive tides, which is why the Bay of Fundy, which we saw at the beginning of the video, has the largest tides in the entire world. And this is why the Bering Sea, which is connected to the outer oceans, also has extremely rough, intense waters with massive tides. Now, why am I zooming into the North Pole? Well, on old maps, the North Pole was not just a body of water and ice, but there was a black rock in the center, and then 4 rivers emanating from the center. Well, Earth is an anagram for heart, and your heart has 4 chambers. And it's not just a muscle, it is a vortex that vortexes blood in, oxygenates it, and then vortexes your blood out. And if you think of the Earth as a giant electromagnetic torus field or a vortex, you could hypothesize that at the North Pole, that is essentially the heart of the Earth, pumping the water out and then pulling it back in. And that could be what is causing the sea, the Bering Sea, to be so impossibly dangerous when you are crabbing in deadliest catch. But I made this video for entertainment purposes only.
Gain weight, maintain weight, lose fat. Gain weight, maintain weight, lose fat. Gain weight, maintain weight, lose fat. Gain weight, maintain weight, lose fat.
What actually happens inside your biology if you take magnesium right before bed? It's a silent, rapid neurological override that prepares your entire system for deep cellular recovery. The capsule drops into your stomach, dissolving rapidly. Millions of mineral particles flood your small intestine, easily crossing the intestinal lining and surging straight into your bloodstream. As magnesium circulates, it targets your muscles and nerves. Muscle fibers instantly block calcium influx, triggering a deep physical relaxation and shedding hidden structural tension. Next, it binds to GABA receptors in the brain. Your central nervous system shifts into low gear, slowing down erratic neural signals and silencing the chaotic daytime mental noise. Your heart rate and blood pressure drop into a steady, restorative nighttime rhythm. You aren't just passing out. You are biochemically optimizing your sleep architecture from the cells up. Reclaim your rest.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't.
What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things.
They don't want you to know this, but you can manipulate energy with nothing more than your focus and emotion. Every thought you think is energy. Every feeling you hold creates a frequency. And the universe? It's not responding to your words. It's responding to your vibration. You want to change your life? Stop trying to force outcomes in the 3D world and start shifting energy in the field. Visualize with intention. Feel it as if it's already real. Hold that energy long enough, and the quantum field must reorganize to match it. This isn't magic, it's science. Your energy is your signature. So ask yourself, what are you broadcasting today?
Has just discovered blueprints for a network of tunnels beneath the mansion that supposedly led to the homes of Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, James Caan,
Will you watch yourself, huh?
and Kirk Douglas. Now dig this, a photo from the late 70s allegedly showing an excavation in progress beneath the mansion. And this one shows the newly discovered tunnel plans. Check out the bunny logo on the plywood wall. Best of all, the blueprint. It says this tunnel leads to James Caan's house. This one to Jack Nicholson's. This one to Kirk Douglas's. And this one goes all the way.
We come in peace, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. No violence, we come in peace. Brotherhood. Family. Allahu Akbar. We come in peace.
Breaking news. 5 armed gunmen in head wraps are on the loose in Atlanta for attempted robbery. They are considered armed and dangerous, one of which has a history of murder. The situation remains unclear. Charleston Porter, age 57, caught committing crimes with underage teenagers, now facing several pending charges.
Wake up early, bitch, I gotta get some move. Get some move. In my pockets, I got cheese, I got dough. I got Prada.